Hello, everyone. Really excited to see so many people join from all over the world. My name is Shamir Ozeri. I'm Marketing Programs Director at Algorand. I'm going to keep this brief and just share what we have planned with you, what we have planned for the next hour. So in a moment, I'm going to hand things off to Kelly Callahan, who we have here. She's Algorand's head of marketing. Following Kelly, we're going to hear from Mike Wise, who will facilitate today's discussion with three really innovative Boston companies that are going to be showcasing what they do and how they use Algorand's technology to do it. Each presenter will get 10 minutes to share what they're doing and or demo. So basically kind of showcasing their product. And after that, we're going to leave some time for questions at the end. One important note is that all attendees by default are muted. There is, however, an open chat. So again, I'll repeat that. There should be a small chat bubble on the bottom right, which if you click will open it up. We do request that, you know, keep it what's the word I'm looking for? Focused. We encourage questions. So any questions that might come up, please put them there, and we will be monitoring that during the call and kind of handpicking based on the time that we have some additional we'll be handpicking some of those questions and addressing them towards the end, again, depending on how much time we have. What else? Let's get started, I guess. Kelly, I'll hand it off to you.
Sure. Thanks, Shamir, and thanks, Mike and everyone, PureStake, Attestiv, and Bleumi for coming together to do this. You know, I just want to say I'm going to be super brief. Algorand's really excited to be a part of the very healthy and active Boston blockchain community. You know, though we're less than a year old, we have our roots here. We're very proud to be here. And like Shamir said, you know, Boston Blockchain Week was unfortunately canceled due to the coronavirus. So happy that we are all transitioning and making quick adjustments to be able to still do things to share all the stuff that's going on. Algorand's had a ton going on lately. We could do one of these for the majority of the main cities all over the world because we've got so many use cases and so many people that are helping with the network and doing interesting things with the technology. So I'm looking forward to this. Thanks all for joining. And Mike, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Great. Thanks, Kelly. Really appreciate it. Everyone, Kelly Callahan, she's the real deal. Yeah. And Algorand is the real deal too. You know, anytime one of the smartest guys in computer science makes a big move, a big bold move in his career, you want to pay attention. And Silvio Macaulay is that guy. The 2012 Turing Award winner for computer science. I think it's a safe bet that he's one of the smartest guys in the world, and he started Algorand, and he has developed a pure proof-of-stake protocol that is suitable for the insurance industry and financial services and just a host of use cases. So we thought it would be a good idea as part of Boston Blockchain Week to put together just you know, you can't overdo something, but just put together 3 use cases that are using Algorand and help people see the way that Algorand really is solving the trilemma. So we've got PureStake, which is a intra-blockchain technology with APIs, and Derek Yu, and a really good team there. We've got Attestiv, which is doing tamper-proof media, which has an obvious application to insurance and claims and underwriting and the assets associated with insurance and making them tamper-proof. And then we've got Bleumi, which is doing a non-custodial digital currency payment system and is also developing a host of other blockchain-based applications. So these are 3 really good use cases that are in deployment, and then of course Algorand. So 4 really great companies, 4 great leaders, 4 great teams, and 4 great technologies. So we're just going to do 10 minutes each, short and sweet. As Shamir said, there's a comment functionality in the tray on the bottom of your screen. Feel free to engage, ask questions as we go along. We're going to try to collect the questions until the end and answer those questions, have a 10 or 15 minute Q&A session, and then continue the discussion until 9:30. So let's roll. So Derek Yu, CEO of PureStake, can you introduce yourself and take it away?
Just to introduce myself quickly, I'm Derek Yu. I've been, building cloud and technology as a service companies, my whole career here in the Boston area. And, currently I'm the CEO of a company called PureStake. We're a crypto infrastructure as a service company. So really we focus on creating high quality infrastructure built, and we have a very close focus on the Algorand platform. And really we want to make it, super easy for developers and other teams to build upon Algorand and to build different applications that take advantage of the functionality that's on Algorand. So think of it kind of like a similar to what AWS does for base infrastructure. We're doing something similar for crypto and Algorand infrastructure, kind of making it very easy to access and consume the services that are on that platform. And so what I'll be showing you today, in the spirit of kind of showing some demos, is several of our services that provide that. So three in particular, that I'll be talking about are a node infrastructure as a service. So blockchains consists of a series of nodes. That's kind of the software manifestation of what a blockchain is. And so we provide those as a service. We provide a set of API services as well. And then we also have a set of tools for visually kind of understanding what's happening on the Algorand blockchain. So that's our goal seeker block explorer. So we'll be talking about those three applications and just showing you how you can use them. Before I do that, I'll just take a brief moment and just talk about kind of what's underneath those, because that's a little bit more difficult to show. So we obviously have spent quite a bit of time when you offer an infrastructure as a service. The key part of that is to make sure that it's secure and reliable, right? So if other people are going to be using your service, their application is only going to be as reliable as the underlying infrastructure. So we've done quite a bit of work here around automating, both the setup and the management of Algorand-based infrastructure using what's called an infrastructure as code approach. We deploy this infrastructure across all three major clouds. So that's AWS, Google, and Azure. And then we have a whole host of tools that we use to ensure that infrastructure is performing well, running well, that it's secure. All of the things that go into running a high quality infrastructure. So that's it for slides. Let me jump over to some of the tools so you can get a sense for those. So what I'll start here is with the API services. So imagine that you're a developer, you want to work with the Algorand network. So Algorand itself, what you can do is there is kind of this node software, the client. You can download and install that and kind of attach yourself to the network. The challenge is that one is that it takes some amount of time, and this is actually true for any blockchain, to synchronize that node. And then once you have it synchronized, you need to make sure that it's kind of running 24/7, that it's getting upgraded, all those kind of operational things that have to be done whenever you're running a service. And so obviously by us providing that as a service, we kind of make it easier for folks to develop applications. So here, there's a very easy sign-up process. If you go to our website, there is a free access, across the testnet and mainnet for people that are just getting started. And once you get signed up, there's you'll get an API key. This is just a personal account that I have with an API key that allows you to access our service. And as an example, here's a set. If you're a developer, this would be familiar to you. This is a set of Swagger documentation that shows all of the different functions and all of the different APIs that you can call, when you're working when you're building an Algorand based application. And these are all interactive here, so you can look and understand exactly kind of all the details around these APIs. We do also have a whole bunch of examples of how to get started and how to use our API service. So those are included in the application, as well as if you look here on our GitHub, you'll see that we have a whole number of examples that you can be used as starting points to get started if you want to build applications on top of the Algorand network. I was going to look here just at a specific one. So, for example, if you look here under these JavaScript examples, there's an example here of submitting a transaction. So, if you look here, this is just a small kind of code example here of how to interact with the Algorand network programmatically and how to send a transaction. So what I did is I did download this example to my computer. You can see it here in Visual Code. You should see this. This is kind of the example in question. And I'm not going to go through trying to explain any of this, but you can see here that this is connecting to the Algorand testnet, right? So there's a series of different networks in Algorand. There's a beta net, there's a testnet, and there's a mainnet. There's 3 main networks. Obviously, when you're kind of testing things and you're kind of developing your application, often you'll be working on the testnet where you can exercise kind of the functionality of your application, but not be dealing with like real value, as is the case on the Algorand mainnet. And then the point is here that that same key that I showed you before is kind of embedded here inside of this this program, right? So I've put this API key that we saw in the API services application inside of this example. So this key is kind of what identifies me and allows me to use the API service. And just as a simple example here. I'm just going to run, this simple program. All it does is it sends, a small transaction on the Algorand test network, and you can see here from the output that it worked, and it gave me this kind of transaction confirmation here, basically that is confirming that transaction was posted. So what I'll do at this point is let me head over to. Actually, let's do this. So if I scroll up here, there is a number of metrics that we're also kind of tracking, inside of this API services application. So here, for example, you can see that I've been doing some testing in preparation for this demo. You can see here that there's activity, on this API account. I just created another small bit of activity when I executed that last transaction. And if I flip over here now, so this is a different application that I mentioned called Goal Seeker. And what this is basically tools that would help you understand kind of what's happening on the Algorand network. So again, kind of the base network, is this powerful construct that allows you to create objects that have digital value and to transfer them around in a highly secure way. But as a developer or someone building an application, there are a set of other tools that you need to kind of understand kind of what's going on, to make it easier to kind of have visibility and to see what's happening on the network. So Goal Seeker is one of those tools. So if you look here, it gives you kind of a view of some statistics about the network, blocks that are happening on the network, recent transactions. I mean, these are all things that that you can see here from Goal Seeker. And so let's kind of flip to the testnet, which you can do up here. And as one example, we can just start taking a look here. So this is the payment transaction that I just sent from the other window. You can see here that it was a very small amount of algo, which is the native currency unit on the Algorand system. And it was between these two accounts. There's a number of other kind of objects and things that you can look at. If you're that are other details about the network. So as one example, one of the features that's getting used quite a bit is the asset functionality on Algorand. What that allows you to do is create your own digital assets, right? So you can create your own either currencies or other kind of digital tokens are going to represent things in the real world, or have other meaning for your application. This is just one test one that we've created here internally, and you can see that it has a name, and you can see the history of the transactions. We created it with a total supply of 10,000. This is kind of a very powerful function of Algorand that is seeing quite a bit of adoption across different teams that want to issue digital assets, but don't want to go and create their own blockchain. They now have a very easy way that they can do that. So we've been working with a number of folks that are building applications using this functionality, and these are some of the tools we built. But obviously, there's other teams that are using our tools to build other applications and just using our service to kind of help make that simpler. I just pulled up one example here. This is a group that built a dashboard to help visualize one of the staking rewards programs that was launched, as part of, on the Algorand network. So this is a dashboard that kind of shows you key stats about this staking rewards program on Algorand. It has statistics. It has a bunch of different accounts and amounts. This was built using our API service, right? So as a developer, they could kind of focus on the front end visualization and building their application, and they left the kind of this back end node infrastructure they're using our services for that. So Mike, maybe I can kind of pass it back to you.
Yes, sir. Sounds great. Awesome job, Derek. Really good. I'll just switch it right back over to Nikos Vekorides, the CEO of Attestiv. Nikos, take it away.
So I'm Nikos Vekorides. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Attestiv, and I am about to share my screen here. So what we do is we deliver a higher standard for your digital data and media. So if you're familiar with the term deepfake, chances are you're aware that AI-enhanced photos and videos can pose some social threats. Perhaps you're not aware that AI-enhanced photos and videos can also pose IT threats, particularly for companies that rely on photos and videos to make actionable decisions. So here at Attestiv, we built a platform that provides authenticity for your digital media, along with operational efficiencies and an improved mobile-first customer experience. We're a Boston area company, and our focus is largely on insurance, though we do focus on adjacent markets as well in IoT and public safety, among others. From an insurance point of view, what our platform provides is less fraud and more efficiency. So we provide a platform that gives you validation of all of your digital media. And the media can originate from multiple sources. So it can come from Attestiv apps and APIs, which when they capture the media, they will fingerprint the media to distributed ledger, making it immutable and tamper-proof. But we can also work with media from virtually any other source. And it can be from a trusted source, or it can be media that has forensic analysis applied to it. Once we confirm that a media has not been tampered with, again, it's registered to the distributed ledger, and at that point, it becomes immutable and can be validated at any point in the future. And what this allows our customers to do is enable their digital transformation initiatives with confidence. What makes us unique is we can both prevent and detect fraud, and we deliver a platform that's enterprise ready. So it has high level of security. It's storage agnostic, so the customer decides where the data is stored. And we provide integrated distributed ledger through our partners like Algorand, or we can also do custom integrations. We also make it very easy to integrate into existing processes without changing them. So insurance companies that may already have photo and video capture apps can continue to use these with our APIs. We also provide a mobile-first customer experience, which I'll demonstrate shortly in the demo. So the way Attestiv works in practice is any type of media, whether images, video, or documents, can be captured via apps or via our APIs that can live in edge devices. And once at the point that they're captured, they are fingerprinted to the distributed ledger. Once they are fingerprinted, these media assets can change hands. They can go through an entire ecosystem of partners. But once they are re-entered into the Attestiv viewer, we can validate whether these assets are authentic. We can validate them as far as their origin and determine if they were tampered in any way. And that allows organizations to make decisions based on this validation. So the products that we have available today include an inspection and adjuster app that's being used by independent adjusters. We have a self-service web app for producers and insurance agents, which we will demo in a few minutes. We also provide APIs for developers who want to use our libraries in their existing products. And later this year, we're launching a media manager that can connect to a storage repository and provide validation for all of your photos and videos. Our products are being used by customers in production, and we also have partners who are developing on top of the Attestiv platform. Some of the customer feedback that we've received are elimination of day one auto claims through validated baseline photos of the vehicle, and this is something I will demonstrate shortly. Faster quoting, faster adjuster report submission, and faster special investigation unit activation when anomalies have been detected by Attestiv. So with that, I will put it all together into a demo for you so you can see exactly how it works. Now, this particular demo is an auto quote. So think of having to get a new auto insurance policy. Perhaps it's a used car. You pick up a used car and you want to insure it. Typically, it involves a whole application. And what we've done is not only have we created an application process that utilizes validated baseline photos of the vehicle that's being insured, but we've made it a lot faster than your typical quote process. And we'll show you how. So with this video, we're showing you the Attestiv web app that can be run on any agency, insurance agency or producer. It simply takes photos, asks the user to take photos of the vehicle that's being insured. These photos are validated. They're registered to the distributed ledger. Once these photos are taken, then we can grab other information from the user, and instead of filling out a 50-question application, we can read a barcode for a license. We can take a photo of a registration. We can also take a photo of an insurance coverages page, which actually contains probably the most important information in underwriting, which is what should the coverage be on this vehicle. And we do it all in a matter of minutes in a very simple process. Now, all of these assets that are being gathered are registered to the blockchain, so you actually have a validation of the authenticity. So as soon as this entire application is submitted, once you enter your email here and phone, you simply click submit. Once this is submitted, an agency can actually go in and look at the results. You can see the photos of the vehicle have a green check mark, which means that the Attestiv viewer has gone in and validated these assets, meaning that they have not been altered in any way. And you also have all of the photos as well as all of the information that's been extracted and entered digitally into the application. So what we've done is we've created a very fast process, but we've also created a process that gives a higher quality set of data for insurers, including baseline photos of the vehicle. And as we said, a lot of the feedback we have gotten revolves around the fact that instead of having an inspection, we can now trust the user using tamper-proof photos and workflows. So Attestiv provides key benefits across a variety of players in the insurance ecosystem, and these include authenticity, efficiency and cost savings, security, interoperability, and our simple mobile-first user experience, which you saw today, can make the process go extremely fast. As far as the distributed ledger, it's largely sitting in the background, but it's doing a very important job. It's helping prevent and detect fraud, and it's wrapped around a very modern mobile-first user experience. So with that, if you'd like to learn more about Attestiv, you can visit us and feel free to enter your questions in the webinar. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Thomas. I'm a CEO and co-founder of a company called Bleumi. We are based in Boston. We are partnered with Algorand, and we've been working on the blockchain technology for the past 2 years. I'm really excited to talk about what you've done with Algorand. So I want to take the first few minutes to walk through a flagship product called Bleumi Pay. Then finally, I want to give a live demo of shopping cart using Algorand to do the checkout and payment. So without further ado, we are Bleumi. Our aim is to develop blockchain applications to deliver seamless cross-border interactions using blockchain. So we have the flagship product called Bleumi Pay. Basically, it's a non-custodial payment processor which enables any business to accept digital currency as a payment option. So with Bleumi Pay, you can accept digital currency in website, email, mobile app, and point of sale. Some of the use cases we have for Bleumi Pay in Algorand is that you can accept payment, as I said earlier, in website, mobile app. Also, we can do payouts. So you want to pay someone or pay your employees or pay your suppliers, we could use your payouts flows to send payments across the world. Also, we do micropayments. Someone wants to accept payments less than $1. We could use our micropayment pricing and accept digital currency as a payment option. Also, we have a hosted checkout page. If someone wants to accept digital currency in their website, with few simple lines of code, they can start accepting digital currency in their website. Again, we have one platform for all the payment use cases using Algorand. And also we support algos and tether as stuff now in our Bleumi Pay product. Some of the payment use cases that we are working on is one is invoicing. Just like a PayPal invoice or QuickBook invoice, you can invoice a customer. And good news is that you can accept digital currency as a payment option. So the transaction fee is almost nothing. So create an invoice, send to your customer, and the customer can pay them in digital currency. We are also working on something called a quick pay. You want someone to pay you instead of sending email, you can just send up a WhatsApp messenger or a LinkedIn messenger, and you can get paid through quick pay. Also, we have a donation for charity. So we're working with a few charities. They want to start accepting digital currency. So they can just create a donate button and start accepting digital currency. We're working on event ticketing, crowdfunding, billing and subscription, app store payment, gaming, and pay-per-click. The good use case is that you are reading New York Times, but you don't want to subscribe for New York Times, but I just want to pay for one article. I can open my phone and pay 50 cents for the article. So kind of these are the use cases which we are working using Bleumi Pay, using Algorand as a backend. So one of the advantage of using a blockchain technology for payment is that currently the leading payment companies like Stripe and PayPal charge a percentage. If it's a $500 transaction on a shopping cart, you end up paying almost $15. But we came with a flat pricing, like 49 cents, irrespective of the transaction amount. So that is very attractive for a lot of the merchants who are moving into digital currency as one more option apart from Stripe or PayPal. Also, what we have done is we have an API. So if anyone wants to integrate our product, they can download the API and start integrating. We have SDK also. We support some of the major languages. With few lines of code, you can start accepting digital currency. We do have a hosted page. People can start incorporating a hosted page in the few lines of code in their website. Also, we are working with a lot of the Shopee e-commerce vendors like Shopify and Magento, where there's a plugin for Bleumi Pay, you can just go to like Magento store and download it and start accepting digital currency very quickly. So the Algorand, I think one of the things we're really excited about Algorand is that the speed and the cost. With Ethereum, we have to spend 3 to 5 minutes to complete a transaction, but with Algorand, we could do that in pennies. And also the speed, the time is like, the cost also is insignificant in Algorand, where Ethereum, it's kind of unknown. Sometimes you spend 4 cents to sometimes up to 45 cents for each transaction. So with Ethereum, it doesn't make sense to do any micro payments or any of those speed transactions where you want instant response from the customer, especially in kiosk situations. So that way, Algorand is very helpful with the speed as well as the cost. And then, as you know, Algorand also has Tether stablecoin in the platform. We tend to leverage that because most customers are willing to use stablecoin as a payment option. So that's what we're excited about. And architecture, this is a simple architecture diagram. Again, Bleumi Pay uses PureStake, our friends PureStake, called the APIs. And within Algorand, what we do is every time there's a transaction, again, it's a non-custodial payment processor, we create a smart contract using the Algorand ASC1 between the buyer and the merchant. So the fund can be only transferred between the buyer and the merchant. Even we don't have access to the funds. So this is a non-custodial architecture of how we have implemented Bleumi Pay. So let me give a quick demo. This is a shopping cart, a typical, this is built on Magento. So we do have an option to, I already have something in the cart. I'm going to proceed to checkout. So typically you have a payment option of Stripe or PayPal, but as the future comes, people are going to start accepting digital currency. So they can, in this case, the Magento shopping cart has a Bleumi Pay with digital currency. So you can click on Pay with Bleumi Pay. So once the user clicks the button, it goes to our hosted page, pay.bleumi.com, and for the specific merchant. And here they can choose, say, Algorand to pay. So at this time, what happens is within the Algorand, we create a smart contract between the customer and the buyer, and we display a QR code where the merchant can open his Algorand wallet or any wallet he has to pay and scan the QR code. So since I'm doing it on the phone, I'm going to show you quickly how that happens in real time. So just open your Algo wallet and scan the QR code. Once you're done, you can see the payment is completed. And again, so beauty is that the transaction is so fast. In Algorand, in this case, I've sent the payment from my Algorand wallet to the customer already paid. So kind of the transaction is done and the merchant does have the amount in his account. So this game changer, because if you use credit card, it's going to take 2 to 3 days before the money comes. Here, the merchant have access to the fund near real time, non-custodial. So again, thanks again. As I said, in Algorand, we trust. We are a small company based in Boston. We are building products in Algorand, as well as what we're helping enterprises implement Algorand. So we're working with multiple customers who want to implement Algorand. So if there's any need for someone to implement anything in Algorand, we are offering our team to do the architecture, POC, design, development, and stuff. Again, thanks for your time. Go check out Bleumi.com for more information about what we do in the blockchain ecosystem, and especially with Algorand. Thank you.
So let's go for a few questions. We've got some questions for PureStake for Derek. Great presentation, Derek. Love the developer tools and the visibility of the network and so forth. Could you comment on the pricing for the API tools? Are those free? Also, are the APIs proprietary, or are you using the native Algorand API? Could you comment on that?
Sure. Yeah. So there is kind of a base free offering which allows you access to both, unlimited access to the testnet as well as access to the mainnet. We do have some paid tiers above that for folks that really need higher capacity and throughput. Those are options, but I think for a lot of folks, to get started, the free tier is kind of quite capable for getting started, especially when you're building something new. And that's something that you can sign up for, just from our website. In terms of the APIs, we do certainly offer kind of direct Algorand node compatible APIs, and we have worked with Algorand to make sure that all of the Algorand SDKs are compatible with our API service. So there is kind of some specific things you need to do when you're using the Algorand language SDKs, but we do have that as documented as part of our examples. Kind of the example I showed you is one instance of that. We would definitely want to make sure to support the native Algorand SDKs. We do have plans to offer some additional APIs that would be proprietary, and the reason for that is that the node APIs are good at a lot of things, but there are certain kinds of queries and other kinds of actions that they're not as performant for. Based on feedback we've gotten from a number of the teams that we're working with, we will be offering a set of proprietary APIs that kind of are in addition to the base Algorand APIs for things like, for example, if you want to run queries across a large amount of transaction history. Those are ones where we could provide higher performance responses basically for queries like that versus what you would get from the straight node API.
Great, thanks. Nikos, got a question for you. I know that most of the people are on the call are pretty familiar with the general value proposition of blockchain, but could you just talk a little bit from your perspective when you're talking to insurance executives and they say, why should I use distributed ledger rather than database? What's your response to that rather than a standard private database?
Well, the short response, Mike, is that we're dealing with an ecosystem. You've got agents, you've got independent adjusters, you've got the insured, you may have shops, repair shops, and others. So who maintains that single record, and why should it be centralized? And that is really the crux of the matter, is how do you get everybody on the same page operating on a common system, and a system that's decentralized, that can be trusted so that we can provide authenticity for this media. And that's really what it boils down to. I mean, there's lots of threats, including the insider threat, that are present if you have a centrally managed database. And all of that can be alleviated through distributed ledger.
Gotcha. So just providing a higher level of security and trust in the architecture of the system. Great. So Thomas, question came up on the chat. What cryptocurrency did Bleumi Pay use when the payment was made, when you did your demo, and which cryptos can be used through Bleumi Pay?
Yeah, thanks. This is a good question. So for the demo, I used Algorand, Algos, because the user selected Algos. So we support blockchain, multiple blockchains. So we support Ethereum. So any Ethereum stable coins on Ethereum we support, USDC, Tether. Similarly, we support XDAI, any digital currency XDAI support. And we support Algorand. So in Algorand right now, we have Algos, and we have Tether coming on Algorand. So we support them. Again, it's one platform, Bleumi Pay. We support 3 major blockchains, all Ethereum-based stablecoins, all Algorand-based coins, which are going to come, as well as XDAI-based coins.
So looping back to Derek. Derek, what about central points of failure in APIs? Can you comment on that?
Obviously, with our service itself, we've gone to great lengths to make sure that there's no single points of failure in our own service, since we know customers will be relying on us. I do think there's perhaps a more philosophical point, which is, with blockchains, it's supposed to, there's one point of view, which is that, everyone should have their own node and kind of do their own access versus using a third party. And, our position there is, that's that's fine, right? I mean, if anyone who wants, has the wherewithal to kind of build their own infrastructure and set up their own nodes and access the network, it's a public network. Algorand is, right? So anyone is open to be able to do that. We think that's great. We just know that for a lot of development teams, there's kind of friction there, right? So there's that is kind of overhead and does take work, and for some people they do want kind of a partner that can help them create a service that they can consume. So we think there's room for for both approaches.
Excellent, great. Nikos, question for you that just came in is your app also cryptographically signing the digital artifacts, so the photos, etc., so that so that someone can check the fingerprint, but also can check who created the digital artifact? Could you just comment on your architecture?
That's actually an option, and in fact, we also account for other pieces of metadata, time, date, location, as well as the user, and these can be very important depending on the application.
Thomas, another question. When will the payment reach the merchant?
Yeah, so I think we are a non-custodial payment processor. So when the demo I showed, when the customer scans the QR code, the digital currency is transferred from the customer's wallet to the merchant's wallet. I would say it's near real time in case of Algorand, or a few minutes in case of Ethereum. And also, I just want to give a shout out to Derek because we're using PureStake. So one of the things that it allowed us focus on building the use cases rather than focusing on infrastructure. So we just focus on building the use case on Algorand, and we save a lot of time not focusing on infrastructure, which PureStake takes care of. 3
great use cases on a great platform. So thanks a lot for joining, everyone. Really appreciate it. We're making lemonade out of lemons here in Boston with the coronavirus situation. But hey, we got something out there, and we hope it's been helpful. So Shamir, I'll turn it back to you. Thanks so much again for hosting.
Thank you, Mike, for facilitating. There's one last question that Peter asked that, I'm obviously biased being with the Algorand team, but I would like to, maybe very, very briefly, a couple sentences hear from Thomas, Derek, and Nikos. So, you guys are doing these amazing things, but there's so many blockchains out there. Why Algorand? Let's start with you, Thomas.
Why? That's a great question. So I think one is that we really like Algorand as a team. I think there's 2 parts of it. One is the... I'm not sure I understand. Sorry, my Apple Watch is talking. The technicals, the academic side from Silvio, from MIT, that's great. Then also there's a fantastic team who are experts, entrepreneurs who are running the company. That is one thing. Second is I really love the technology behind Algorand. Speed, secure, fast. And we have a fantastic team which we can easily communicate, talk, and work with. So we're really excited about the future with Algorand.
Yeah, I'd say that, Thomas, you may have stolen some of kind of what I was going to say as well. So, I mean, for me, I'll just boil it down to this, that it's a combination of the team and the technology. So on the team side, if you just look, like the performance, of Algorand is just like vastly better than most of what's out there. The properties of how they're able to secure it, but also kind of not centralize. Most of the other platforms out there that achieve high performance do so by sacrificing decentralization. So those are kind of technical properties are important to us. But I would almost say equally important is the quality of the team, and just their focus, and our kind of interactions with them all been incredibly kind of positive or responsive to any kind of issues we have. I mean, that's kind of half the battle, right? I mean, you can have great tech, but without a great team, you're not going to get very far.
Well, I second what everybody says about the team. Certainly the Algorand team has been great to work with. For us, it came down to scale and economics. When we're working with insurance, it is all about scale. We can't afford to, or at least we can't explain to the customer that CryptoKitties is taking down your network. So it really needs to be a protocol that can scale, also have the economics to provide the transactions at a reasonable cost. So all of that, along with the governance and a team that we trust, makes Algorand a very good choice for us.
All right, guys. So thank you again. Thank you to all our presenters and companies that showed, but most of all, thank you to all the participants. Again, this is kind of an improvised thing that we did. This was supposed to be a morning breakfast here in our office with some of the local community as part of Boston Blockchain Week. Then coronavirus happened. Looking at crypto world today you're seeing red. We don't take this for granted. We really appreciate everyone's time. Thank you for joining us. Feedback is welcome, by the way. Like, really, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter, via email, through the website. Feel free to reach out to our presenters if you have any additional questions. We'll probably be posting perhaps this video as well as some additional follow-ups, through Twitter, through LinkedIn, through our different channels. Again, thank you again, everyone, whether it's morning, evening, or afternoon. Have a great rest of your day or night. Stay healthy out there, and we will talk to you soon.